And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective to current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Good morning. Yes, here we are again, another day committed to sorting through the nonsense in the mainstream media, providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate planning, tax planning, and so much more. Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate, and we are consumer activists now. Our goal is to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
And shouts out to Children's Cancer Center. We raised a lot of money last week with the Gelatin Plunge, and over $1,800 with the Real Estate Quarterback Show, and I think around $130,000 cumulatively for the Children's Cancer Center. Great job, and thanks for the community for coming out and supporting that. And you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. I got an all-star lineup here, intelligent folks in studio with me. I've got Mr. Ron Schulte. He's the sales director of Mark Ruttenberg Homes. Ron, welcome back in the studio.
Hello, Tampa Bay.
Yes, sir. And also John Barcelo as well with Value Centric Appraisal.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Glad to be back.
Excellent. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of good things happening in the market we're going to touch on. And my trusty co-host here, Jason Salmon, the Wolf, back in studio.
Thanks, Brandon. Always great to be here. Today we have another edition of Ask the Real Estate Quarterback, as well as some other news in real estate and business, so stay tuned.
Excellent. Yeah, this segment is brought to you by Freedom Boat Club. It's the official recreation partner of the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Great opportunity. It's a membership-based organization, 13 locations here locally in Tampa Bay. It's a nationwide platform as well where, if you're going down to the Keys, you can take a boat out there. And, it saves you all the hassle of having to insure your own assets. The boats is a depreciating asset. So why not let Freedom Boat Club join Freedom Boat Club? Talk to Mike Craig over at Freedom Boat Club, and also shouts out to Tampa Limo and Car. After the show, we always limo over to Hula Bay. It's our official restaurant partner with Roberto at Tampa Limo and Car, and we enjoy a great waterfront dining experience at Hula Bay right there in South Tampa. It's the best kept secret in South Tampa here. Almost every time we go, someone's like, man, I didn't know this was down here. Awesome place to store your boats and that dry storage as well. And Freedom Boat Club's right there as well. They have one of the locations there. And happy Father's Day, all the fathers out there celebrating Father's Day weekend. One of my most important roles, and a lot of us, I'm sure, as we have that experience with our young ones through growing through mentoring and kind of looking up to Coach Tony Dungy, who we're trying to get on the show as well. His All Pro Dad program, and just what a valuable experience to give back to your kids, give back to the kids here in the Tampa Bay market. One of the most important things we can do as fathers out there. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And before we jump into this great content, I just want to touch on a couple of hot listings that we have here. And you got to check out the drone video that Darren Moretti did with droneography on this property. It's 219 18th Avenue in Indian Rocks Beach. Pull it up on YouTube, 219 18th Avenue in Indian Rocks Beach. Beautiful property, waterfront, the ability to moor up to a 65-foot vessel on the beautiful intercoastal waterways and Indian Rocks Beach. And it's a gorgeous boater's paradise here, townhouse. And you literally walk 2 minutes across Gulf Boulevard, and you're on the sugar sand waters of Tampa Bay. All right, we also have 5506 Beeman Dew Loop in Land O'Lakes. We're doing an open house on this property, and this is a great opportunity if you're in that price point of $1 million to $1.2 million or so. Custom-built high-end home situated on gorgeous Lake Thomas in a private gated community. We're doing an open house here. Owners motivated. You got to come take a look at this property if you're remotely interested. And if you're a broker out there, please reach out and engage us as well, and we'll show you this property. So a couple of hot listings there. You can look up either one of those properties on YouTube and just pull up the addresses. 5506 Beeman Dew Loop in Land O'Lakes and 219 18th Avenue in Indian Rocks Beach. And I want to thank all of our listeners who engaged us last week. We had record numbers texting into our consumer advocate hotline for the credit package, and also the value text were very big last week for credit check with William Crowley. Everyone that texted in, I want you to pull out your smartphone, save this number in your phone. It's 813-917-1894, and at some point you're going to need it. All right, to save that consumer advocate hotline and also check out realestateradiotampa.com. It's our website. You can see links to all of our preferred partners. All of their announcement cards are up there, and you can see the pictures of what these voices look like here in studio. So let's jump into this great content. I got Mr. Ron Schulte, the hardest working man in real estate, I tell you, and he's got these beautiful Mark Ruttenberg homes, and man, zero energy, no electric bill. Just the advanced technologies, the health aspects of these beautiful custom-built high-end homes. Take it away, Ron.
You stole my thunder. We're building these homes in the greater Tampa Bay area, so we build in all the 5-county area. We have our own developments out in Pinellas County, a waterfront property called Turtle Beach and Crystal Beach, 62 homes on the water. We have the Wilds, 17 homes on a gorgeous 8,200-acre preserve. And we're always looking for more. So we want to satisfy your lot need as well as your home needs.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. I tell you, every time I set foot in that beautiful property, I think about all of the foresight that the builders have, that you have with this property. And I know you're selling a lot of it to the doctor community because they understand the health repercussions of some of the modern day living.
When you're green and when you're zero energy, what happens, the ripple effect. The house is so healthy. The indoor air quality is superb. Anybody that has allergies, respiratory problems, they can breathe in our home, your home. People that want to preserve the environment, people that want to leave a planet for their grandchildren. I have 17 of them, and I worry about them all the time. We're contributing. We're doing our share.
Yeah, there you go. And one of the things, too, I always point out is it's interesting. It's from the ceilings, from the attic space to the carpets. I mean, the carpets were as plush as I've ever felt on my feet, but they're made from recycled plastic bottles. All these things we're always carrying around and throwing away in our landfills.
100% recycled plastic bottles. Mohawk Carpet, who makes it, is the biggest recycler of plastics in the world. So what's happening is that carpet is hypoallergenic. It doesn't stain. It won't hold pet smells. It feels cushy, and it's just a green product. You'll love it.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful properties here with, again, it's Ron Schulte, Mark Ruttenberg Homes. And if you want to take a look at one of these brochures, just text Mark Ruttenberg, text Green Energy Homes to our Consumer Advocate hotline. We'll send you one of these brochures and a great opportunity. More offers coming up as well. But go ahead and text in to our Consumer Advocate hotline and take a look at these brochures and make an intelligent decision next time you're looking to, build a home or potentially make a change. And that's 813-917-1894. Again, our Consumer Advocate hotline. So, yeah, Ron, what else are you seeing out there in the marketplace?
Well, something that's really interesting is that the lot prices, land is so expensive now. We're seeing double-digit increases. So I just have to caution the home buyers, you got to have a piece of dirt to put that home on. And if you're not ready to build today, it would be wise to buy your property, buy your lot. We can provide lot financing for you, and at least you stop the increase on that aspect of the home buying process.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and bring John Barcelo with Value Centric. He's our appraisal expert on the show. Let's bring him into the conversation on that point of lot values. I know we talk a lot about single-family homes, and that seems to be the majority of the market, single families, whether it's townhouse or condominium. But, can you speak a little bit about land value as well, John?
Absolutely. Land value, they're not making anymore. So
that's right.
Unfortunately.
No more earth.
That's about all there is. So Ron's absolutely right. Enter in the market to grab that land, especially in your coastal communities. Pinellas County is over 97% built out. Some of the most challenging value appraisals that we do are Pinellas County land, because there just are so few transactions available. So the fact that they're able to develop in that market is outstanding and really speaks to the broader subject of just how great our market is doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some numbers coming up as well. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. We'll tease that a little bit, but Tampa is really growing in clout, and we've had the great fortune to have all the local mayors on the show. Mr. Bob Buckhorn, Mr. Kreisman out of St. Petersburg, and Mr. Creticus is a friend of the program as well over in Clearwater. And the resounding effect is that, hey, we compete as a region for business, and it's an opportunity to bring in conventions, bring in jobs. We see it every other week. We have all this infrastructure being developed here in the local area. And Ron, you've got a beautiful model over there in Palm Harbor. Tell us about that location in case people are driving around. They might want to swing in and see you.
Stop at our preview center. It's 3001 Hawks Landing Boulevard, Palm Harbor, Florida, and we'll take you down to the model. It's totally zero energy. It's totally green, 4,550 square foot of innovative architecture and design.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely take a look over there. A lot of times instead of buying a resale property, traditional sale of a resale, it's a great opportunity to buy that dirt. And I went through this process as a kid. It was a great time. I loved it. Going to visit the house, seeing the studs go up, and then the pools, the pools being built, and you go through that process. It's awesome. It's a great time.
Oh yeah, it's huge. And actually, I'm surprised that Ron has any time for anything, having 17 grandkids.
Yeah, he's a busy guy there.
And half of them are in the teenage years now, so I didn't want to do that twice, but we're feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Something about the land that we have to understand, too, is about probably 6 out of 10 homes that I build, we're actually buying an older home, tearing it down, and rebuilding a new home.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's old. It's got the low ceilings in there. You don't have that even as sometimes a big a footprint as you could have. You can increase that footprint, grow your square footage. And you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, another intelligent roundtable discussion here with all of our experts in studio. And when we come back, we're going to jump into these great numbers with Mr. John Barcelo. About 90% of properties now have equity, and it's a great opportunity to get in the home buying game. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
Welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. I'm a top listing agent here in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine multiple times, recognized for my innovation with marketing, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties, and also Platinum MVP Realty and Crushcraft Marketing. And got a couple of hot listings here I want to touch on. I got 0 Merlin Drive. Now, this is one of those fly-in communities in Tampa. It's another lot here. This is a great opportunity to buy this lot, this land value that we're talking about, and build your dream home on this airplane hangar and airplane hangar on this beautiful wooded lot in Merlin Drive, Newport Richey. It's in Hidden Lake Estates. And Captain Will Smith, shouts out to Captain Will Smith there, Tampa executive Flight Center and Global as well, teaching people how to fly. And I'm one of his students, so I'm having a good time learning how to fly in the friendly skies there. And also have a 27-acre ranch in the heart of Tampa that is for sale here, just south of Citrus Park Mall. 27-acre ranch and a beautiful opportunity here to either build and develop that area, or the owner would prefer to keep it as a ranch, and she's selling the business with a horse ranch and all, right in the heart of Tampa. And we also have 3231 Pineview Drive in Holiday, Florida. This is in the Bailey's Bluff Estate. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath single-family home, and it's an open floor plan with, again, another waterfront property here listed at $475,000. So for this or any of our other real estate properties, questions, concerns, if we want to engage you, with the Consumer Advocate platform here, we're going to entertain, we're going to educate, but most importantly, we want to engage you and help you live a better life with some of these offers. And stick around, we got some good ones coming up. But we want you to save our number in your phone. It's a Consumer Advocate hotline, and it's 813-917-1894, and also check out realestateradiotampa.com for a plethora of resources. And I asked Michael Lisenko to call in. He's our safe money coach, going to let us know things going on in the market. Michael, what are you seeing out there, bud?
Hey, Brandon, how are you today?
Oh, wonderful.
Good. Market's up. It's been kind of a wild ride. Interest rates, it's interesting. Janet Yellen came out the other day saying that they're not ruling out possibility of an interest rate hike, but probably later towards fourth quarter, maybe early of next year. So that's hard to know, but all 30 stocks in the Dow are up today, and Fitbit just announced, actually they came out with their IPO, and it was up pretty big today. So, a lot of good stuff going on in the market, but, my advice is to be cautious, because what can go up can come down just as quickly. And I think it's more important today than ever to make sure that you have a safety net around your investment, and especially with your big money, the money that you've got set aside for your retirement and for future income. It just makes sure you have a safety net around that. And that's what we do, is we talk about safe money strategies and ways of protecting some of your gains and making sure that what the market doesn't, or what the market gives, doesn't get taken away from you.
Yeah, Michael, a lot of times people pull money out of their paycheck into their 401k, and they call that a retirement plan, and that's not it. Traditionally, a lot of folks are saying, well, you put 70% into bonds, and you put the other into some mutual funds and potentially some stocks, but that's not the correct game plan, especially when you have this looming bond bubble out there and a lot of things happening. And we want you to walk away from this show with something of substance. So how would you caution our listeners with that?
Well, I think there's two things that you have to be careful of, especially as you get closer and closer to retirement. Even people that have the years to invest and save, is that the market drawbacks when it drops 20, 30, 40%, as we've seen a couple times over the last 15 years or so, is really detrimental to how much money you have in your nest egg, whether it's a 401k, IRA, Roth, whatever it is. You got to be careful that you have enough money. And I think the biggest fear that seniors have right now is running out of money. And so you got to really be careful. You got to keep an eye on what you're doing. That's what most people look at is the growth on their money. We kind of take a different approach. I know growth is important, but we also want to protect it against taxes, which is one of the biggest areas that most people don't look at. Is how do you pay little to no taxes on your money at retirement? So if you can create that safety net, if you can get to where you're getting the gains of the market without the risk, if you can protect your money against taxes, you end up with more of it. So I just caution people to develop a plan, have a plan of attack of where you see yourself, where you want to be, and just make sure that your money is working alongside of you towards that successful retirement.
And Michael, something you just touched on is, I think a lot of people, when they see, the Dow and the top 30 stocks being up the way they are there right now, they're like, okay, it's time to jump in, and they'll kind of do it on their own and think that they're jumping on the bandwagon, but really I think one of the things you got to be careful of is, like Brandon said, what goes up must come down. And so you kind of jump on the train as it's heading up the hill, but, it could easily be going downhill. It could be going over the cliff. And so I think that's one of the big things, and one of the reasons that it's so important to use a fiduciary in today's financial times.
Absolutely. I'll give you a great example. The NASDAQ today is up 5,100 points. It's taken 15 years for the NASDAQ to get back up above 5,100 points. So if you had been in the NASDAQ 15 years ago, you would barely be breaking even with the money that had been sitting in there for the last 15 years. Well, 15 years is a long time just to have your money tread water, not really do much for you. So there's other options out there. I just tell people to sit down, let's look at some different things and see if there's some other things that they should be doing.
Yeah, and Michael, we have an offer here, or Michael has an offer, and sometimes we want to call it an audible. We got Peyton Manning helping us here with an audible. Now, so you want to huddle up, call an audible, even if you have a good financial advisor, maybe he's a friend, someone you've been working with for years. Let's get a second opinion. Let's get a second look at your holdings because there's a lot of things happening in the marketplace right now. And, the United States is kind of like the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry, so to speak, when it looks at it and investing in dollars. But what Michael will do, he's got a financial blueprint that he can sit down and go over with. He can actually even email this out to you, I believe. But, if you text the word invest right now, or let's text Safe Money to 813-917-1894. That's our consumer advocate hotline. Text Safe Money now, and Michael Lisenko is going to give you a copy of this financial blueprint. It's going to break down, an opportunity for you to, save your money, save time, and, maybe retire early. If you make a couple of tweaks and changes here, you can potentially retire early and with more money. So, Michael, thanks for calling in and appreciate those nuggets of advice, my friend.
Sure thing, Brandon. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye now.
Excellent. Yeah, so about a minute left here, but let me recap what we've got going on. We've got Mr. Ron Schultes, the Director of Sales for Mark Ruttenberg Homes, these beautiful zero energy and green technology, solar technology homes. We got Mr. John Barcelo. He's also with Value Centric. He's an appraisal expert, the foremost in the Tampa Bay market in terms of appraisal and valuation, foremost authority here in Tampa Bay. And also Jason Salmon, he's our co-host and also an expert buyer agent specialist with Platinum MVP Realty. And so we got a great lineup here, and we're going to educate you and entertain, and we want to have, we have a QAA formula with this show. You're going to have questions, and we've got some awesome questions coming up off of the Ask the REQB off of social media there. And, but you're going to have questions. We got answers, but we want to have these action items like you hear today with the show and every day with the show. So when we come back, we're going to be talking about Tampa's named 18th best large city, and that's 250,000 or above. And Brandon is named 13th best medium-sized city. And also going to talk about 90% of properties now have equity with our experts in studio. You're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Real Estate Quarterback Show. And this show is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're climbing that corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder into your truck on the way to work every day. This show's for you. We want to help you avoid all that commission-based advice. There's so much bad advice out there and misinformation, especially in the mainstream media. Wherever you turn in the Googles of the world, people are paying for SEO and pay-per-click. But this show is different. We have partners. I want you to think of this show as the hub of your financial wheel, and each spoke extending out is representing another one of our preferred partners. These are the finest folks in all of Tampa Bay. Our real estate elite is what we call them. It's the real estate and financial elite here in the Tampa Bay market. Going to help you live a better life. We want to be a turnkey solution for you no matter what you're facing in your life. So we want you to focus on being a good mother, father, and potentially whatever job you may have. Maybe you're a doctor, a lawyer, a waitress, or construction. We want to handle these big ticket items and help you, live a better life and serve as a consumer advocate. So before the break, we talked about 90% of properties now have equity, and it's an interesting story here. It says as home prices rise, more homeowners are regaining equity. During the first quarter of this year, about 254,000 properties regained equity, according to CoreLogic's latest data report. That now brings the total number of residential properties with a mortgage that have equity to about 45 million, call it, or 90% by the end of the first quarter. John Barcelo, you are our valuation expert, and you are with Value Centric here, regional manager, and this is a nationwide platform, so no one better to talk about it than you.
Thank you very much, Brandon. I read that exact same report, and probably why we're partners is we both printed that same report to talk about today, because it plays such a key role. The role of the appraiser is to study data and let that data speak to you and let that data really derive what the value is. And these types of reports and this kind of information is exactly what we rely on. 20% more people can put their house on the market today because they have equity in it, because they can pay off the existing mortgage, maybe pay the closing cost and help a little bit with the buyer to get him in and to step up or step back or wherever it might be. I'm at the point in my life where I have one that just graduated from college. I have one that's going into a senior year in high school. So I'm getting rid of that big house next year.
You look much younger than that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I worked hard for that. So, it's hugely important. We're getting my daughter in the first house right now. It's an exciting time. So we want to see more houses in inventory, and we don't. It's a tough inventory right now.
Yeah.
So this kind of data, these kinds of things happen and are really helping the market. It's funny, Ron's here today. The other study that we just came out this week was from the National Association of Home Builders, and confidence in the home builders and new home starts is at record high. It's at the highest level it's been since September 2014. The rating's 59. I couldn't really explain to you what that rating means. I just know it's the highest since September 2014. Ron being on the platform today certainly supports that builders are very confident in the market and absolutely are encouraging you to go out and find those pieces of land. In many situations, it's a far more economical conversion to that a piece of property's highest and best use is to have the home knocked down and to build a new energy efficient green home on it. Not only is it benefiting the environment and helping all of us, it's giving a platform that the next generation is going to be able to grab onto. So that's a subject for a whole nother day. Ron, we applaud you so much for doing that. The other thing that we brought today is a HouseWire report, and we love Housing Wire. They give us a great deal of information, and just something else that supports the Tampa Bay market growing is everyone wants to move to Florida. I mean, that's pretty much, I guess, common sense, and we're kind of stating the obvious, but these reports just continue to come out that show 3 of the top 12 locations in America that people want to move are right here next to us. So it just doesn't surprise me that the prices are going up. It actually incites me that prices are going up. But I'll give you a quick story from yesterday. We're looking at a house in a neighborhood in St. Pete on the water, and the houses around it are selling in the $500,000 range. This house has been on the market for a year at $480,000. It's not getting any offers. It's not it's not moving. So the agent, lucky enough, comes to me and says, John, try and look into this and tell us what's going on. A little deeper research in that shows that the houses in that area that are selling at that top of market, they have wood floors.
Yep.
They have travertine countertops. They have walk-in showers. They have the amenities that fit with that level of home.
Yep.
And at the subject, when we did a little deeper research, we found laminate floors. We found ceramic tile from 1972, or 82, excuse me. And maybe some kitchen cabinets that had seen their better days as well. So just because it's a seller's market doesn't mean that you're going to get top dollar if you haven't maintained and done what really should have done to improve your home. So
that's right. Deferred. You got the deferred. They kick the can down the road. They don't make those repairs, and then they say, "Oh, well, this house sold over here." And we see that a lot, don't we, Jason?
Yeah, and I think actually you touched on something big, in the 90% article. And one of the things they talked about, if you read a little bit further into that article, is that Florida is actually one of the higher states in the negative equity. And the reason I'm touching on that is really for all the investors out there. This is your chance to get on this train to maybe get some deals, before that dries up, before we're on the other side of that. And so I think that's key for all the investors out there to make sure you're looking for those deals, to make sure you're actively out there. And, and you could talk to me or you could talk to Brandon and we'll help you find some of those.
Yeah, it says 5 states with the highest negative equity. 5 states alone accounted for 31% of the negative equity in the U.S., according to the report. And Nevada's number 1, 23%. Florida, number 2 with 21.2%. Illinois, Arizona, and Rhode Island round out the top 5. So, yeah, it's a great market here. When we talk about real estate, I'm very excited, to be positioned where we're at. We've got this great consumer advocate platform, awesome partners, and it's an opportunity as a homeowner out there. If you're renting, you're paying your landlord's mortgage. You're not taking advantage of the tax write-offs. You're not, in the homeownership game at the lowest percent in terms of mortgage rate that you're ever going to see in your lifetime, most experts think. And, so let's do this for the renters out there. What we want to do is, if you're a renter, let's text the word rent in the amount of rent that you're paying. And if you're brave enough to make that move, Tony Robbins, one of my mentors, says, when you have a goal in sight, never leave the sight of setting a goal without making some type of an action move towards that goal, setting that appointment, scheduling it, making the call. Exactly. So if you're a renter out there and you want to live a better life, you want to leave a better legacy for your family, text the word rent and the amount of rent that you're paying to our Consumer Advocate hotline. It's 813-917-1894. Text rent and the amount of rent to 813-917-1894, and we're going to put together this analysis for you. It's going to break down the numbers for you. You'll see the numbers side by side. Mark Spence over at Integrity Financial Services will break down a rent versus own analysis. It's going to show you how much you can get in terms of a home for that money that you're basically throwing away. Yeah, you get to live there, but you can't throw the awesome parties and paint the walls and do different things. Maybe you can, who knows? but so let's have you reach out. We want to help you live a better life. So, John, what else would you say about that? What else are you seeing out there?
Oh, seeing a lot of great stuff. The deferred maintenance side speaks to a lot of things, and what we really want to make sure every time we come on the show that we get out to the general public is do those things that you need to do. If your house was built in 1982 to 1990, it's time for a new roof. Just because you've had it patched a couple times and it's still not leaking, it's time for a new roof. And if you're going to go make that plunge and you're going to put your house out on the market, know that the buying market is educated today, is a lot more educated than ever before. And it's going to be inspected. It's going to be checked out. The pest control issues are going to be looked at. Your HVAC, your plumbing, your roof, all the key components, the key amenities of that home are going to be researched to the nth degree. And if you haven't done your due diligence as you should have, it's going to be exposed relatively quickly.
And it's very important you do that right away, because what's going to happen is that when you enter the marketplace and those errors are made and you're not properly positioning your property, your days on the market are going to accumulate, and then that's what a buyer sees. The buyer says, "Oh wow, this home's been on the market 222 days. Man, let's go in there with a lowball offer." And that's what happens. You see that happening a lot out there. Yeah, so if you position yourself, better in the first place, kind of what John's talking about, you do, the necessary updates, roof, HVAC, but even some aesthetic things like you're mentioning in that other home, you upgrade the countertops, you upgrade the cabinets, things like that. I think you'll see a much better position and you'll get yourself in the right place to start out with. Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, I know we have a consumer advocate tip here as well, John. What's your consumer advocate tip here?
Well, something that's impacted the appraisal industry a great deal in the last several years is the advent of the appraisal management company, and we won't go deep into that subject today. That's its own show topic. But a lot of lenders utilize appraisal management companies, and those appraisal management companies were created with a great theory to help the consumer, but unfortunately what they're doing is harming the consumer. You see, we are the staff appraisal firm, and quite often we're performing that appraisal for about half of what the consumer is actually paying the mortgage lender. If you wrote a check for a $500 appraisal and you're financing with one of the big 5 mortgage companies in America, more than likely the appraiser got paid less than half of the fee that you paid. So my consumer advocate tip is know who your lender is, know what the process is, because that could have a very material impact on your value
I'll come right out and say it. Stay away from the big banks. They're the guys that took the bailout money. They're the guys that, were put in that position, give their CEOs the golden parachutes. Stay away from the big banks. Support local lenders like Mark and Tony over at Integrity Financial Services right here in Largo. Let's stimulate our local economy.
Exactly.
You're exactly right, Brandon. There's bad apples in every bunch, but to just cast that net across the entire industry and prevent the partnership of mortgage and real estate and appraisal is doing a disservice to the industry. There's professionals in the industry that absolutely have the ability to work direct with lenders, and many good lenders do that. It is legal. It is allowed. The lender doesn't have to take the easy way out, use an AMC. They absolutely can manage that process on their own, and you're going to get a better appraisal result when you utilize that lender.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we talked about as well, Tampa named 18th best large city, and that's 250,000 and above. And we went on, and it says for veterans. So yeah, we're a military town here, and shouts out to all of our veterans, and we really appreciate all that you've done. And Tampa, high marks there, and also Brandon is up in the list there as well. We kind of teased that before the break, but yeah, Homestrong USA, we give away a mortgage-free property to veterans. We support HomestronguSA.org. And for every 25th or 30th home sold through that program, we're giving away a mortgage-free property nationwide. We definitely have a heavy heart and, support our veterans. Also, shouts out to Work Done Charities. Work Done is a partner of the show. He's been on the show. Check out some of the videos in the archives there.
Work Done. Work spins to the 10. He's to the 5, 4, 2. Touchdown.
Football season's almost here. I'm getting excited already. So, yeah. So you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. When we come back, we're going to hear more from Ron Schulte. He's the sales director at Mark Ruttenberg Homes, John Barcelo with Value Centric, and more from our experts in studio. RealEstateRadioTampa.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Real Estate Quarterback Show. This segment is brought to you by the Maids Cleaning Service. The Maids do a great job coming in, cleaning. They have 4 folks come in, clean. They're in and out, and do an awesome job of cleaning our properties for us. And also shouts out to Dr. Doug Arvanitis, the best chiropractor here in Tampa Bay. He's the Pros Doc here on South Del Mabry in Tampa, Florida. And before we jump back into this great content with our experts in studio, I want to touch on a couple of hot listings. We've got 4704 Ashton Court in Tampa. This is a nice Carolwood property, Stonehenge, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, brand new roof. The owners just put a new roof on it 2 weeks ago, talking about that, John. But pride of ownership comes in, and it's $234,000 for this beautiful property in Carolwood, highly sought out area. And we got 1850, 1870 Main Street. This is an 11-unit property, and it's a cash cow. The owner tells me she hardly ever has any vacancy because of the high walkability and bikeability of that Main Street in Safety Harbor. It's at $1.1 million, and it's 11 units. Excellent opportunity for passive cash flow. And have you ever wanted to own your own hotel? Well, I've got a great opportunity for you here at 636 Corey Avenue in St. Pete Beach. And it's just a rare opportunity to own an income-generating property within steps of St. Pete Beach. And I got to tell you, this whole Corey Avenue area in St. Petersburg is getting ready to blow up. A lot of development planned. And so get in, reach out, Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradiotampa.com and 813-917-1894. Go ahead and text us and engage. Anything that you hear today, if you want to get involved with real estate, or you maybe you're an investor out there or a realtor looking to change teams, we're looking to really increase our footprint here in the Tampa Bay market. So we want you reaching out. So again, we got a great lineup here. Ron Schulte, Mark Ruttenberg Homes, John Barcelo, Value-Centric Appraisal, and he's our valuation expert. Does a great job helping me out. I really appreciate everything he's doing with our business as well, getting those CMA lookups done for us.
Yeah.
And Jason Salmon, the Wolf.
Yeah, we're back with another edition of Ask the Real Estate Quarterback, brought to you by Platinum MVP Realty and Crushcraft Marketing. Today we got a great question. Actually comes out from Tara via Facebook. And Brandon, this one's right up your alley. Tara wanted to know, out of the 4 seasons in the year, which would be the best time to sell my home?
Okay, great question. Thanks for engaging us on social media. We're out there on Facebook.com/Real Estate Quarterback Show. We've got a Twitter handle out there as well. We're on LinkedIn. We're all over the place on social media and YouTube channel. Check out some of our YouTube videos as well. Some really good content out there. And by the way, you can see this live stream as well and all of our past shows. But great question. And traditionally, most people are going to say the springtime. It's the time when people are getting in that mood. They want to get the spring cleaning done. They want to get that home move in before the summer gets kicked off. But spring, early summer, I would say traditionally is the hottest time to sell. Most inventories on the market. But, hey, a lot of people look at the holiday time, too, as a time not to put their home on the market. So I kind of read this both ways. You could a lot of times during that time of year, I'm talking to sellers and I say, hey, why would you not want to just enter into the market here, and go ahead and be one of the few homes versus flooding the market? So there's a couple of ways to look at that, John.
Sure.
What's your take on that?
No, I agree with you completely. I don't know that we could necessarily nail down one best season, so to speak, especially here in Florida, because do we have more than 2 seasons really here
Right.
in Florida anyway?
Good point.
We got hot and less hot.
Right, bingo. So, it feels like late August, and it felt like late August the last week of April, So
Yeah.
Anyway. Now, my take on that is there's really not a best time. I think that I think the timing is personal, not market driven.
Exactly. And I think Brandon actually touches on a good point that, you could sneak your home in there, in December, January, even November, and get a little bit more exposure than, say, you would usually get. Sometimes you can get lost in the shuffle, but that could be a good way to get a little bit more exposure.
Yeah. And a lot of times, too, people that, they are focused on holidays and that type of thing, but there are people that are transferring. They got to get that job transfer in. You got kids changing, school zones, different things happening at the end of the year as well. So it's not just, think about a fiscal year, almost.
Sure.
But yeah, let's get Ron Schulte involved here. Mark Ruttenberg Homes. I think we have a question geared towards him, right?
Yeah, actually, I have a Tim via email who wanted to know, I'm very interested in going green with my next home. What are some of the new green home technologies that are coming out or that have come out already?
That the consumer is craving the products. The products that are out there, they're old. We have a company that reclaims lumber from the river, special species of lumber that's milled, and we have it in our house.
Wow.
Our air conditioning system, variable refrigerant. I have a 4,500 square foot home. I have a 3-ton air conditioning condenser that handles 5 air handlers. I should have had 11 tons and 5 air handlers. That's how efficient it is.
Wow.
I keep my thermostats at 80 degrees. Tesla just came out with a home battery to store energy that I produce.
I saw that.
The batteries out there to date are worthless. This could be very exciting. The floorings that we're using, new technology on floorings. I'm using stranded bamboo. So bamboo is a grass, not a tree. I'm putting it on my floors. It's indestructible.
Wow.
I can even get bamboo countertops now, which are absolutely gorgeous. Every aspect of the home is new. They're affordable. LED lighting, it's not the same as it was 10 years ago. Now I can buy a LED light and it's going to last for 15 to 20 years. It creates no heat. In our home, it would have taken 1.5 tons of air conditioning to offset the heat on a typical light bulb. So everything is more efficient, everything is more accessible, and they work.
Wow. And I think a lot of that, you're right, Ron, is it's market driven. That's what the consumers are asking for. That's what the consumers are looking for.
Yep.
And so in turn, these companies are coming out with these very specific products that feed that market. So I think you really touched on a key point there.
A couple of real interesting things. My exhaust fans in the bathroom. We all know the builder puts a $20 exhaust fan in, all it does is make a racket.
Yep.
We use a specialized fan from Panasonic. It's a $250 fan, but it's sucking out all the humidity in that bathroom. I don't trust a consumer to turn on the switch. It's on humidity and motion. You will never have mold and mildew in those bathrooms. Wouldn't your wife love that? Wouldn't you love that? The air quality is impeccable. The insulation that we have. My attic temperature today is 71 degrees. Yours is 120 to 140.
Yeah.
The products are there. I couldn't list them all for you, but we have a brochure that gives you.
Yep. And we got an offer. I want to make sure we get this offer. I really appreciate you putting this exclusive offer out to the Real Estate Quarterback Show listeners only. And Ron, can you describe that offer, please?
We're custom builder for a set of plans that are permittable. To be able to permit it, it's going to cost you $25,000. I will pay for that for the next 30 days if you want to buy a custom home from us.
Wow. Yeah, great opportunity. And for the next 30 days, you could pay for your custom home plans and engineering required to permit your home. It's a $25,000 plus value. And you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show. This is only for the Real Estate Quarterback Show. You got to mention REQB as the coupon code there when you call in or text in for that. But if you're interested in that, go ahead and text now to our Consumer Advocate hotline. Again, it's 813-917-1894. $25,000 value, compliments of Ron Schulte, Mark Ruttenberg Homes, and the Real Estate Quarterback Show. Text Ron Schulte or text Mark Ruttenberg Homes to 813-917-1894 and take them up on that offer. Great opportunity. I appreciate you doing that, Ron.
Thank you.
Yep. And so let's go.
And I got one more question, actually. And John, this one is right up your alley. And this one actually comes from Sarah via Twitter. And Sarah wanted to know, my home recently got appraised for a lot lower than I expected. What are some simple things I can do to really increase the value?
Real quick.
Very quickly, I apologize for that. Up front, you should have probably worked with a little better informed professional that could have alerted you to that, because the data dictates what the value is. So your realtor, your agent that you were working with should have been able to pull that information, and that really shouldn't have happened. You're not going to be able to materially impact your house by value by putting a coat of paint on or throwing some plants in the ground, but perception is reality.
There you go.
And when the appraiser comes out and he sees a freshly painted home and some nice new magnolias blooming, obviously his perception might change.
Of course.
Yeah, increase that curb appeal. Make sure it's there's no cobwebs at the entryway. Some of the minor things, but often overlooked. Declutter. Let's remove those. If you have an over amount of personal pictures on the walls, let's remove those. Those types of things are tremendous helpers as well. And so, hey, another great show. Thanks so much for calling in. Thanks for being a part of our show. Our expert contributors, all the interns and production staff behind the scenes helping us. Another great show. Tune in next week. Check us out. Look at all of our social media stuff. We've got some really cool content out there on YouTube. Our live stream, and we'll see you next week. Real Estate Quarterback Show, realestateradio.tampa.com.